Right on. Go Titans. Ooh. She's a cheerleader. How did I do?
Really good.
Yeah, okay. All right. You're 16. Do you drive?
I do.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Any accidents?
No.
No? You sure? Anything you want to confess? Okay, good. Bill, you in high school?
Still working on my GED.
Okay, good. You drive a car?
On occasion.
All right, let's get into this. Well, first of all, are you guys related?
No, only as traveling companions.
Okay, good. Very good. Have you been to Haiti before? Was this?
Well, this was my first trip, but my wife and daughter, Darlene and Molly, they're a pretty guitar player, has been about 10 times between them. And so we've got a couple kids we sponsor over there, and so between letters and stuff, I feel like I've been there, but this was my first physical trip back.
Okay, so why did you go to on this trip?
Well, Paul, on this trip I was bullied into going.
Right? How did that happen?
So between the letters and the kids asking when I was coming over and things of that nature, and I was still kind of, wondering whether it was the right thing for me to do or not. So Dar brought me to the closer, Jelaine, and I'm thinking I'm going to go talk to Jelaine, and I'm going to give her my reasons, and she's going to quote scripture and tell me why I should go. But basically, she just said, "Man up! I got 16 and 17-year-old girls that are going. Why aren't you there?" So that's pretty much how it happened.
Okay, yeah. Too bad. Good for you. Have you been on a trip before, Ashley?
Yeah, it's my third trip to Haiti, but I've also gone to Uganda.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. So you are the veteran of this panel at 16 years of age. Nice job, Bill. How does a 16-year-old afford 4 different mission trips already?
A lot of babysitting and help from my parents.
Yeah, right on. That's good. Anybody needs a babysitter? There you go. All right, good. Bill, let's kind of get to the meat of this with you. Before you left on this trip, one of the things you did was you pulled some strings, contacted some people, and you were able to get a hold of a lot of tools. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, so on this particular trip, we were going to build a school behind the church in Meije for Pastor Gaston, and so I work for Dixie Line, so I have some connections with material suppliers, so I was able to explain to them, what was going on, what was happening with this trip, and what the purpose of it was, and got 100% support from all of them. $3,000 or $4,000 worth of real high-end quality tools that we could bring over there and help build this school.
Yeah, you should do a mission trip to my house.
Yeah, I've got that a couple times.
That'd be awesome. How did the kids respond? How did the people respond when you showed up with all these tools and some of the other things?
Well, yeah, so there was really a positive note in the sense that I guess in the past some of the tools of the shovels would break and it would be really difficult to get some of the project done, and we had a timeline. We were trying to get as much as done as we could. So these tools really paid off. But when we first got there, before we could even get anything unpacked, the local Haitians in Meije just dove in and just found the gloves and were putting the gloves on, and it was like a badge of honor to get those gloves.
Right. I think we have a picture of that too, right? Some of the kids.
Yeah, they were good workers too.
That's great. Okay, so you're like a lot of us. You've heard the stories. You've seen some of the videos, things like that. How did the reality versus what you've heard? What was the difference when you first showed up?
Well, for the most part, it was what I visualized. It was a little hotter than I thought, and the work was tough. But the one that I really underestimated is when we arrived with all these tools and bags. We bring lots of stuff with us on the way over and less stuff back. So we had to get it all put on these carts and try to push them out to the bus that was a couple 100 yards away. And as we exit the airport in Haiti, there's like 40 or 50 red shirt Haitians just looking to help you. Whether you need the help or not, they're looking to help you.
Right.
And you just get barraged by the group. And so I was, the stuff was just piled all over this cart. It was starting to fall off. And this one guy helped me, and no matter how much I told him not to, he stayed the whole way. So, I felt like I gave him $5 for the effort, and found out that from the veterans of the group that I just fed a stray cat because they were all over me.
Not only were they all over you, they also learned your...
Yeah, right. I don't know how they found out, but all of a sudden people were coming up and they knew my name. $5 bill.
All right, Ashlyn, you're 16, like we said, veteran of the trip, of mission trips. What are some of the things you love doing when you go to Haiti? What are the things you love?
I really like to play with the kids and just hang out with them. And then this trip, Emma and I, every day would ask what we could do construction-wise, and we ended up doing an assembly line just about every day, moving rocks. So it seems where they were the day before. But yeah.
Power cheerleader moving rocks.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You talked a little bit about how much you loved holding on to the kids, holding them in your arms, and you did something with VBS too. Tell us about that.
We split up the kids after the main VBS lesson into groups of 10 or 15 kids, and there was 2 leaders per group, and it was Emma and I, and we just kind of helped them. We did arts and crafts and played games with them, stuff like that. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, so what was one of the big moments for you on this trip? Something that really struck a chord that was important to you?
The biggest thing for me was I sponsor a little boy named Evans. He's 7 years old, and he's from Good Rest, and I've always had a relationship with him, but we've never been super close, and this trip he kind of gravitated towards me, and we got really close, and on the last day he pointed to my sister and was like, she's my sister now too, and then he told me he loved me, and he was like, you're my family now, and just stuff like that.
That's great. So how does it feel knowing that you're sponsoring a little guy and you actually get to go and spend time with him once a year or so? How does that make you feel?
It's crazy to see him speaking English, or you can tell he's a really smart kid, and it's cool to be a part of it. You know that you're helping him get through school and learn and get prepared or be prepared for his future, and it's really exciting to be a part and just be involved with it.
Right. How about you, Bill? One big moment that really got your attention on this trip?
Well, I would say there was we had some work that we had to do over at Good Rest as well, and Molly was, my daughter Molly Ray was with her sponsored child, Miche, and they were sharing, translating each other's Bible, so she was helping him with English, and he was helping her with Creole, and they were spending time. So Molly was done, handed me her Bible, and so I walked over to the steps, and a gentleman, or a little boy named, 16-year-old boy named Lugans came up to me, and grabbed the Bible from my hand and started reading Genesis 1, and we read through the 7 days, and I was, helping him with the words that he didn't understand or what have you. So
you're a Bible translator.
Yeah, that was a scary thing. Yeah, I was translating the Bible.
How does that look? What does that look like?
Well, there's words like creature and birds and sky, so I was doing birds and pointing to the sky and trying to figure out creatures and doing my best to give him my interpretation.
One of the things you mentioned to me when we chatted earlier was that it was like a front row seat. What does that mean?
Yeah, I had some time to spend with Jack too when I was there, and that was one of the things he was talking about was finding a way to put yourself in the path of front row seats more often. And that was kind of my front row seat moment, was with Lugans and reading the Bible. And a couple other boys came by, and they could speak English a little bit better than Lugans and helped do the translation. So it was just a great moment.
So what's your takeaway with God during this trip?
Well, for me, my relationship with God's a journey. I'm still working through that whole process. But something that Jack said to me really stuck home was that you really have to get into community. And this trip over there with the group that we went with was about 40 people. We got really close. Got to know them, got to understand them, got to work side by side with them. And so, you had the community. But when you're over in Haiti, the opportunity for the one is all around you. And so it's a front row seat.
Yeah, that's awesome. Ashlyn, how about you? You mentioned to me something that was very important to you with you and some of the girls. What was that?
Well, every night we try to get together and do a Bible study, and Molly was talking about a book that had something to do with excess, and it kind of made me realize, the kids there definitely don't have excess. They don't even have everything they need, and over here we have a ridiculous amount of excess, and their faith is still so much stronger, and when things go wrong, they trust in God, but here, we don't have really anything compared to what they do to worry about, yet we put our faith to the test and, question it a lot more often.
That's awesome. What's your one challenge? You're 16 years old. Some of us are a little bit older than 16 years old. What would you challenge our church to do
Just to reach out, even if it's locally. Like, you don't have to travel around the world to help out people. There's people everywhere that need the help. You could go, like, to a homeless shelter or anywhere, just, even if it's local, like, it still is rewarding to the people and to you in the end. So, just reach out.
That's great. You're going back to Uganda?
Yeah, this summer.
Will you ever go back on a missions trip again?
Yes, I'm going back to Haiti this spring. We're going to go back and finish what we started. So John, myself, and some others. And Darlene's leading this particular one. So
that's cool.
I'm all in.
You told me about a couple things you wanted to do. You haven't got approval for yet.
Well, yeah, I guess at one point I'd like to build some soccer nets. These Haitians love soccer, and they play on uneven surfaces, and they play barefoot, and they play on rocks, but they don't really have goals. So I'd like to build them a goal with some nets. And there was also where we worship there at Good Rest. I didn't see a cross in the church. There might have been one, but I didn't see it. So I'd like to build a cross.
That's awesome.
When we're back there.
That's great. Guys, great job. Thanks for sharing with us.